Hello everyone! Today we are going to be working on these fun paper weaving crocodiles. To begin, you'll select which weaving loom you want to use. This line will have our name written above the line. So make sure your loom is in the same direction as Mrs. Belzer's. This line also is our stop line. So it's helpful to write stop, S-T-O-P. Because our next step is to use our scissors and starting at the fold, cut on those lines until you get to the stop line. So cut carefully, stay on the lines, and when you've finished, we can move on to our next step. We'll just speed this up here, cutting carefully from the fold line to the stop line. And when you're done, you can unfold this piece of paper and all of your cuts will there be in the center. This side with our name is the back. This side will be the front. Next step, we're going to be taking strips of paper and we're going to weave them into the loom, creating the pattern on the alligator or the crocodile's back. You can choose if you want to use all the same color, all different colors, up to you. I like to start from the right side. You're going to go over one strip, under one strip, over one, under one, and continue this pattern until you get to the next side, carefully sliding the strip up to the top. Now, whatever you choose for your second strip, this has to go in the opposite pattern. So we can't start over. This one has to go under first, then over. And if you slide them up, you can see how they're offset and they don't match up. If your paper strips match up, then you need to pull it out and redo it. Carefully slide this one up. When you pick your third strip, you're going back to your original pattern. So over one, under one. And you'll continue weaving this fashion until you fill the paper loom. Here we go. My paper loom is now fully wove, and we're going to take care of the edges. So what you're going to want to do before we do any cutting or gluing is grab the edge of the loom and you're going to lift it up, tucking every single strip underneath so that strip is on the top of everything else. Do the same on the opposite side. Carefully lifting so we don't rip anything, tucking them all under. Next, you'll flip it over and you're going to glue down all of the ends before cutting. So simply lift them up, put a little glue stick glue down and stick them on there. Glue the strips along both sides before flipping them over. Smooth down the strips and then we're ready to trim. To trim them, you're just going to very, very carefully cut off any of the extra woven strips. Try not to cut into your crocodile's body. There we go. All right, clean up and throw those strips away. Next, we're going to flip it back to the back side. The side with your name is the back, remember? This part that has your name, that's going to be the head of our crocodile. So we're going to draw a rounded shape for the top. Remember, crocodiles kind of have that wide, rounded front face. And then at the bottom, you're going to want to draw a tail. So here I'm marking the center and just drawing a diagonal line on each side down to make a triangle. So the bottom will look like a triangle. The top will kind of look like a rainbow line, but a little more squared off. Carefully cut off the scraps and make sure you save those. We're going to use these scraps for the arms and legs of the crocodile. Our next step will be to use some paper scraps to collage on the eyes. For the crocodile's eyes, take a white piece of paper, fold it in half, and draw a large circle. Feel free to use a tracer for this part if that helps you out. I'm going to make a large circle and cut it once while the paper is folded so that I can get out two matching eyes. And then I'm going to repeat this step with the black piece of paper, cutting out two pupils. Once you're done with the eyes, I'm going to keep using that scrap of white paper, and along the edge, cut 2 diagonal cuts towards each other to make triangles. So see how I cut one diagonal, change my grip, cut the other diagonal. And right now my paper is still folded, so I can get double the teeth cut out. Continue cutting out triangles for the crocodile's teeth. Once all the eyes and teeth are cut out, use a glue stick to stick them on. I like to glue the teeth on the underside so they stick out. The last thing we're going to be cutting and gluing are the paws or the legs for the crocodile. So using my scraps that I had left over from the loom, I'm just going to be doing some like 3 pointy-toed legs. And because of like how my cuts turned out, I'm going to use the bigger legs towards the back of the crocodile and the smaller legs towards the front of the crocodile. So carefully cut out some arms and legs for your croc. Glue those on the underside of the crocodile, and then using markers you can finish up adding details like nostrils, texture, eyelashes, eyebrows, bumps on the crocodile, and so forth. Have fun being creative and adding lots of original details to your crocodile. Thank you so much for joining us for today's lesson. I hope you enjoy these paper woven crocodiles.